I'm so Tomorrow's Valentine's Day and I've made 0 sales so far this month. Originally, I've made a reservation to go find dinner with my fiance to celebrate, but guess now we'll just have to sell for Chick-fil-A. Okay, so maybe I'm overreacting and there's no need for me to risk myself getting divorced before a wedding, but let's address the issue here and share with you the 3 main reasons why I'm not making any sales this month and what I'm going to do about it to get myself back on track. If you're new to this channel, my name is Michael Young. I run a consulting agency called Polaris, which is doing around $500,000 per year right now. And this is me documenting my journey to bring this business to above $1 million run rate and beyond. And by building in public, my goal is to make sure that I can hold myself accountable, to show up at my A game and honor my commitments at all times. But most importantly, by sharing my failures and lessons along the way, it is also my hope that I can share with you everything that I'm discovering right now that's working in this economy so that you can also build 6 and 7 figure businesses in the most effective manner possible. So the first reason why I've made 0 sales over the past 13 days is because I have been absolutely swamped with client fulfillment. Back in January, I've hit my goal and projection to onboard 5 new clients in my core program. But at the same time, what I did not account for is that I'm still catching with 3 clients this onboarding who got delayed because of Christmas. And this means, and since I run a core program that does both done for you and done with your services blended together, I have to onboard the clients, indoctrinate them into our coaching program, audit their processes, audit their operation infrastructure, recruit a rockstar VA for every single one of them, which requires me to sift through on average 158 applicants per hire. And we have to all ramp their VA against our clients' process and SOP so that the VA can be able to free up time for our clients. But at the same time, whilst my clients are happy, whilst they are being onboarded and activated and getting momentum, I am left with very little time and bandwidth to focus on marketing and acquisition. And this is exactly why, referring back to the 3 core projects that I'll be prioritizing over Q1, which I've gone through in detail over in my last video, this is exactly why I have to hire an HR manager to increase my fulfillment capacity. And the reason why I've decided to make the HR manager my next hire is because that is my next rung up the delegation ladder. For me right now, I have a social media marketing assistant who handles all of my editing, social media distribution, tracking, prospecting, outreach, and CRM. And I also have my executive assistant who's doing all of my admin tasks, emails, and also helping me with customer service. But what I do not have help with is all of the recruitment work that's involved with onboarding, vetting, recruiting, qualifying, and sourcing talents for virtual assistants that my clients are looking for in our consulting agency. And the reason why I've chosen the HR manager to be my next hire as well is because, to me, I love coaching. I love working with my clients. I love looking at processes. I love building operational infrastructure and helping my clients become better and more intelligent delegators. But what I do not like doing is going ahead and sifting for applications, building out all of these qualifier tests, looking at all of the role responsibilities, role titles, etc., and molding the recruitment funnel for a virtual assistant around the specific role and specific responsibilities that my clients are looking to fill. I always decide what I wanted to delegate based on what I've written in what I call the energy value quadrant. So if you draw a horizontal and vertical line on a piece of paper and have the x-axis be energy and y-axis be value, I always want to make sure that I'm delegating the tasks at the bottom left corner, which are tasks that is low value and gives me low energy. And next, as I've already delegated most of that, what I want to do next is to go ahead and replace myself out of the task that gives me low energy, but is also valuable to the business. And in this case, it will be all of the recruitment work that's involved in my client fulfillment. And in order for me to do that, instead of just going ahead and just hiring a recruiter or an HR manager that I can find online, I must make sure that me, myself, is practicing what I preach. Before I even decide on the hire and decide to onboard this new person, I have to go ahead and streamline all of the processes that's involved in this recruitment, that's involved in the virtual assistants recruitment, management, vetting, and developing side of the business. Make sure that number 1, the process is validated and is streamlined enough to be scalable. And number 2, I must make sure that every single step along the way is paired with SOPs, clear KPIs that communicates clearly on what does done look like. This is, again, a little bit tedious, especially if you are not an operations-driven or systems-minded person. But one thing that I learned the hard way is that if I ever hire somebody without having the processes, SOPs, expectations, KPIs, duties, and daily responsibilities mapped out, then that would just be a recipe for disaster. Because number one, if you don't set expectations up front, your new hire will set their own expectations and bring them onto the table for your business, which oftentimes does not meet your standards. Number two, if you do not provide the right instructions, or if you do not provide the clarity on how things should be done in your business and what does done look like, then your new hire will simply bring their own definition towards the business. And oftentimes that will mean them doing whatever they thought is best for a business, which oftentimes is not what is actually best for a business. And then that will lead to you becoming the micromanager and simply be the person who corrects mistakes and chases after your new hire, rather than actually being somebody who is able to enjoy a new level of leverage and new level of capacity as a result of the hire. So long story short, as I am going ahead and creating a talent pool and sourcing for my new HR manager, I'm also working to streamline and map out my recruitment process for my business, so that when this manager onboards, I have all of the materials required to get this person up and running and run up to speed ASAP. Reason number two, I became over fixated on defense, and allow me to explain what this means. First off, there's not me making an excuse on why I am not making any sales. I should always be making sales, because sales, new clients, and cash flow is what fuels the growth of the business. But what I do not want to do here is to be grinding my way towards seven figures. I want to compound my way towards seven figures and beyond sustainably and healthily. And in order for that to happen, I've built my business around the recurring revenue model. In other words, my thesis is that as long as I keep more clients entering every single month than what I did entering last month, then month-to-month revenue will simply compound over each other to the point where I will be able to comfortably generate $83,000 per month or $1 million per year without even having to worry about enrolling any more new clients. And currently, my MRR is sitting at $25,000 per month, and here's the problem. $25,000 per month more than enough covers my business and personal expenses, which means even if I make 0 sales this month, I will still end the month in profit. And this is the exact problem that led me to fall into the builder's trap. The builder's trap, in my opinion, is a stage where you as a business owner is so focused on your craft, refining your product, refining your services to a point where you forget to market it to the world. And that is one of the most futile efforts that you can pride yourself in, because even if you have the best ever product or services out there, the statements of build it and they will come is an absolute myth. It just doesn't work, because especially if you are running an online business, if you do not market it, if you do not sell it, if there are no eyeballs being exposed to what you do, then your perfect product or services will never be able to be utilized to its fullest potential to impact the world at the highest level. So with it being said, here is what I'm going to do to mitigate this problem. I will not tunnel vision into just solving one problem at a time. Because right now, let's say my biggest problem here is to alleviate fulfillment capacity issues by streamlining processes, building better systems, and hiring an HR manager to handle recruitment. But if I only focus on this project and solving this problem and neglect marketing and have lead generation and opportunities dwindle, then by the time I hire the HR manager, there will be no demand to get this person to make use of the payroll that I'm paying this person on. And there will always also be no chance or no opportunity for me to actually stress test the new systems and processes ability to fulfill and service a higher volume of clients. So rather than approaching this as an either or problem, as in I can either solve a fulfillment problem or an acquisition problem, I must tackle this from a both and perspective, as in put my big boy pants on, shoulder up more responsibility, and be able to solve two problems at the same time. In other words, in this case, it will be to fix the fulfillment capacity problem, but also shell out time and attention and resources to maintain or scale up my marketing and sales volume. And in case if you're wondering, hey, Michael, but if you have a product and currently you're making 25,000 per month in MRR, what if you can, but then can you just get to negative or 0% churn because clients can just refer you their friends and never leave? Well, technically that's true. Technically, if I go ahead and service my clients and all of them give me referrals and they never leave, then I will be able to simply grow and compound my MRR simply by having negative client churn. But to me, whilst that is one avenue for me to get towards 7 figures, that is not the avenue that will allow me to in my opinion, yield the highest return on investment in terms of efforts and resources. And the reason why is because of two things. Number one, referrals is not a scalable acquisition source. Whilst referral clients can be amazing, they are the warmest clients ever, they are the easiest clients to sold because your clients have already sold the referrals into becoming your client as well. It is not something that is predictable and scalable. And since I do want to get this business towards 7 figures, at least by the end of this year, by the latest, I want to be able to establish a more predictable and scalable acquisition source. So that's the first reason. Second reason, even if you have the best client experience ever, and even if you have the best fulfillment process ever, it will only be a matter of time before clients leave you. Because at the end of the day, one client is one client, and one client will never be able to clone themselves through mitosis and become two clients or pay you more, especially when under my contract, whilst none of my clients are in a fixed contract, which is simply go month to month, and they can leave or stay with me for as long as they want to. And I do hope that they can stay with me because in my opinion, every single one of them is getting a multiple return on investment and return on time every single month as a result of what I do. They're also at the same time grandfathered into the recurring rates when they've onboarded with me. In other words, I will never raise my prices on them. They are grandfathered in. So no matter whether they stay with me for a year or 2 years, the amounts that I'm earning from one retainer client will stay the same, and it will only be a matter of time before they churn. So in other words, rather than relying on referrals and aiming for this negative churn scenario as an agency, I'd rather establish my own acquisition source and also scale up my fulfillment capacity alongside my lead generation and sales. Reason number 3, I've decided to elevate my target market. So referencing the 80-20 principle, 80% of my revenue will come from my top 20% clients versus my remaining bottom 80% clients will contribute to the remaining 20% of my revenue. And this is especially important to pay attention to because what's worse than not having clients is taking on the wrong clients. And this is especially true when you run a service or an offer with a done-for-you component. And the reason why is because it takes a lot of time, bandwidth, effort, attention to detail, team cost of fulfillment, and team morale to get a client through onboarding and getting to a place where they're happy, getting results, getting an ROI, and officially in rhythm as a retainer client. And this is even harder to do so with a newbie business owner who is hit with mindset roadblocks or just paralysis analysis, or they don't have a validated offer and they're still in this feast and famine cycle and they don't have established book of business. Because by me investing my time into getting this newbie client up and running, I'll lose so much time, effort, confidence, morale, and momentum to a point where it will cost me, like it will simply end up at a net loss. And this reminds me of the meme around the $500 versus $50,000 clients, which is the best way for me to explain this this principle. So when a $500 client hands you their money, they will feel like their life is now in your hands. They must guarantee success, and they must have 5 money back guarantees. They will break down and just yell at you the moment things go wrong because they've trusted their lives and their life savings upon you. Versus the 50,000 clients will just wire you the money, be chill, and say, let's get to work. So with it being said, I decided to elevate my target market by only taking on clients that meets these criteria. Number one, they must be generating at least $150,000 per year with ample proper margins. Number two, they must either be a consultant, agency, brokerage, or agent, because historically, after working with 300 plus clients, these business models are typically business models that will thrive best with our models and with our SOPs and with our systems, and as well as VAs. Most importantly, these are kind of business owners that also appreciate my offer and what we do the most. Number three, they must sell a high ticket service. Number four, they must have a proven track record and an existing book of business. And last but not least, most importantly, they must be coachable and not have an ego that's too big to fit through a door. And whilst I have total conviction that it is going to be a great decision long term, this will hurt my sales and lead generation in the short term, because that means I have to put hard filters in place and disqualify a lot of people, even if they need my help or are asking for my help. But at the same time, this is a must in order for me to get to 7 figures and beyond without burning myself out or without feeling miserable. Because again, bottom feeders or taking on the wrong clients will cause you to lose your morale, especially when you really care about client success and really care about your reputation. And number two, newbie business owners in a service or consulting program typically tend to be energy vampires who always need attention, who will always bombard you with DMs the moment the slightest problem occurs, and they want everything to be perfect. Versus the seasoned business owner who's weathered and who actually has gone through the trenches of building their businesses to a certain point. They will not only be able to afford you, but most importantly, they will be able to appreciate you and what you do, which to me means the world to me, and also the energy, momentum, and enthusiasm that I bring to the table when I build my business and fulfill my clients every single day. So this is the third and final reason on why I'm not making any sales this month so far. I don't think this is a problem to be solved at the moment, because I'm simply going to be disqualifying my leads a little bit more and refining and elevating my marketing message to match the now elevated target market. And although this is a very hard decision to make, I'm simply reminding myself that growth isn't linear, and by me saying no to average or good opportunities today, I'll be able to open myself up to receiving great and amazing opportunities in the future, and hopefully in the very, very near future. So this wraps up episode 2 of the Build in Public series. If you like the video, and if you would love to follow me along my journey, it would mean the world to me if you hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next week as I report in on my progress through my next video. Last but not least, check out this video where I talk about how I got my business to 50,000 per month and the plan that I'll be focusing on to get it to 7 figures and beyond.